We got Eric Orwell in the house.
Yeah, nice
How
to be
you
with you
doing,
guys.
man? You're starting a whole new community just for white Europeans, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Have you had any pushback?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty controversial. A lot of people are mad. I'm getting death threats and stuff. But
Really?
we're allowed to have private communities. That's really a more fundamental right. Even country clubs have been able to successfully discriminate on the basis of race or religion or all sorts of things. So that's kind of the line that we're taking. We are a private association. This is a private community. We're not selling real estate. We formed a company. So all of us that live there are shareholders in that company, and the company owns the land. I'd like to see you not join a white community, but improve the black community.
No, I gave up
If
on the black
possible.
community. Dude, that's a lost cause. No.
Well,
Eric, that's not my hill to die on. It depends on the own. Oh, man. Black people always late, dude. No matter how much I wasn't late. I was just stuck doing something. Yeah, I wasn't late. Yeah. So
I was telling him I went to black church one time.
Yeah.
Showed up right on time. We were the only ones there.
Right.
An hour later, everyone filtered in. It lasted 4 hours.
That's so true, man. Yeah. How'd you feel afterwards? Feel good?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
The
It was
piano
very
player was
entertaining.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, black churches, man. Yeah, save this for the show.
Okay, we're ready.
Ready? So 77, we're going with 77?
Yes.
Yeah, welcome to episode 57. We get 77, you dumb. My thick tongue got in the way. Well, what did I say?
You said 57. That's
You forgot that. I'm nervous. I got a white guy here, and he's going to hold me to a house. All right, here we go.
Great show.
77. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to episode 77. We got Eric Orwell in the house.
Yeah, nice
How
to be
you
with
doing,
you guys.
man? Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we came across your you're starting a whole new community just for white Europeans, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. How's that been going? Have you had any pushback, or have it been more difficult because it's been labeled white European, or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty controversial. A lot of people are mad. I'm getting death threats and stuff. But
Really? Where are you getting the death threats? Like on social media?
on Facebook Messenger. Yeah.
You got to turn that off, man.
I know, right?
People's calling me all the time on that damn thing. Yeah. Is it coming from other whites, or is it coming
Mostly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And black people are fine with it.
Yeah.
They get it.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's white liberal women, I'm thinking. They're such an abomination, right? White liberal women? It's like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
It's better than the white liberal men, I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't consider those men. Those
No.
are definitely females in disguise. Yeah.
No, it's actually been going pretty well.
Yeah.
So it all started, the pushback, like a month and a half ago. There was a guy on Reddit who posted on r/Jewish on Reddit this long thread about us.
Jewish guy, huh?
Yeah. Getting his people to complain
They start
to the
everything,
government.
don't they?
They do. It's really just them. Everyone's mad about it.
They got a whole state for them, but you can't have a little community for
That's
you.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have communities too. There's one right
Right.
now forming in North Carolina.
Right. Yeah, I came across that. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, he tried to get his people to contact government and media, and they have. So, and it just blew up from there. Mostly it's helped though, because we've got a lot of new applicants. People are interested in it. And actually, someone approached the Attorney General in Arkansas to ask what he thought of it. Initially, he said, there's no place for racial discrimination in a free society. You know, this raises all sorts of legal and constitutional issues.
Right.
And then, like a month later, they checked up with him again, and they said, according to their preliminary investigation, nothing we're doing is illegal. So that's a really good sign. Of course, that's Arkansas. So I don't know if it'll scale to other states in the same way.
Right. So, right off the top of my head, it sounds illegal. So how have you been able to make it legal? Yeah.
Well, so the Civil Rights Act and the Fair Housing Act and similar legislation applies to the public domain. You can't discriminate in public real estate sales, but we're allowed to have private communities. That's really a more fundamental right than access to real estate markets. Freedom of speech, freedom of association. There's a huge body of case law supporting that. Even country clubs have been able to successfully discriminate on the basis of race or religion or all sorts of things. So that's kind of the line that we're taking. We are a private association. This is a private community. We're not selling real estate. We formed a company. So all of us that live there are shareholders in that company, and the company owns the land.
Okay, so it's a corporation selling the land. I guess as in not deeds are being exchanged, like shares in the corporation.
That's right.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and it's actually worked out pretty well, even just for our own governance, because in the corporation we have bylaws that say what you can do, what you can't do. We're pretty hands off, but in a community like this, it can easily go sideways.
Yeah.
So we can set basic standards.
One black guy comes in, he's gonna fuck it all up. I'm just warning you. Hey, so you don't have a deed to your property; you have shares.
Right.
So that's how you show that you own this.
Right. Yeah.
That's
So
clever.
share-
That's clever.
Right. A share is associated with some piece of the land that you then have the right to homestead and develop. And if you develop it, then of course that share will be worth more naturally.
Right. Do y'all got like say I'm white now, I come to your community, you give me the okay to build there. Do I have to go through your builders, or do you have, or do they have the right to go through their own builders?
We tried to implement a policy of own work similar to, Orania in South Africa. You heard of them?
No, I'm not too good. No, not too familiar with.
It's an Afrikaner town, so it's all white South Africans of like Dutch and French Huguenot ancestry.
Oh, okay.
They negotiated the existence of this one town during the fall of apartheid. So they founded, I guess, in 1991. And they have a few basic principles they've used over the years, one of which is they do all their own work. They saw that by relying on cheap black labor, South Africa became dependent on something that was corrosive to their identity.
I see.
Just like in the U.S., slavery led to a change of our culture that wasn't really intended. Wasn't good for blacks. It wasn't good for whites.
And look at the forced immigration from Latin countries. Their labor is so much cheaper than American labor.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, and we want to encourage skilled labor. We also want to subsidize our own development. So we'd rather pay our own people who then will have money to invest in their own lots and building their own families.
So it's a lot like the Amish communities because they build everything.
Right.
They do everything. So that's pretty much how your community is?
That's what we're trying to do, but demand is outstripping supply as far as that goes. So it's hard to keep up with.
Yes.
People are allowed to use outside contractors.
Okay. Yeah. Got to take baby steps. Yeah. So your community, are y'all going to, like when I'm trying to wrap my head around, I have absolutely no problem with y'all doing that. I mean, this is a great reminder when you see communities of all ethnic groups building their own communities. I think it's a great thing. And it shows everybody that we still live in a free country. Like your groceries, are y'all trying to have farmland and do your own crops, animals, or are you going to have your own stores? How far are y'all going to take it? Or it's just a community for whites?
It's a neighborhood. Yeah, it's not going to become a town. We don't have a post office or school. We have a homeschool co-op. We actually have a policy where parents are either going to homeschool their kids or go to a private Christian school or not public schools.
They can't go to public school.
No, not at all.
Don't blame you. Yeah.
The surrounding area, though, is already pretty white. It's very conservative. Most people are Christians. There's really no in between. You're either you go to church every Sunday or you're doing meth in that part of the country.
Right. You know, it's funny. It's like I think y'all taking a step further, but for the most part, all communities are already doing what you're doing. Like, as soon as I got enough money, I wanted to live in a white community. I did not want to live in a black community. You know what's funny? The first community we moved in 8 years ago when we came to Vegas, it's a white community. I was renting at the time because I was having a house built, but nice community. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, on everybody's Ring cameras, a bunch of black kids came into the neighborhood and was like door checking everybody's cars, breaking into everybody's cars. They got a checkbook out of Keith's car, wrote a check for $5,000. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And no, it wasn't $5,000. It was $10,000. Oh yeah, $10,000. It was a $10,000 check. I'm like, how did they go into the bank and cash this? It was unbelievable. Right. But it's like, I'm living in a white neighborhood because I don't want to live in a black neighborhood because I've experienced that in my younger days. I have bad experiences, and it's always in a black community. But still, even though I'm living in a white community, they still came into the community. I'm actually running from these people, and they still got me.
I don't think the black community has to be that way, and it wasn't always. You know, in the 1930s, 1940s, black employment was higher.
But they assimilated to white culture.
Right.
white Christianity. Now it's like they don't want to assimilate. They want to be their own culture. That's why it's so detrimental for them.
It's the victim narrative. They've been told that they've been held down and that they're entitled to compensation. And so when they're committing crimes and trying to loot people's cars and stuff, they think that's what they're owed. And so I encourage other groups also, like this group in Freedom, Georgia. Go ahead and create your own communities. I think that's great. In Cave City, Arkansas, not too far from us, there's a black community there, and no one has a problem.
Have you heard that reasoning why they're building their own black communities?
Yeah.
Have you heard that reasoning?
So twisted.
It's so twisted and stupid. They said because...
He's got a clip.
Okay.
We are the buying power. If we can just teach each other to circulate our dollars within the community, we will solve our own problems. We are literally the answer to our own problems, but we have to change our thinking and come together.
A safe space for black people.
My name is Renee Walters, and I am the president of the Freedom Georgia Initiative. I have a black husband. I have a black son. Every time he would leave out for work or just to go to the store or anything, I would have a sense of anxiety just from watching everything that we've been going through lately with the pandemic and watching our black men being murdered on national television in front of everybody. It kind of just all shook us by storm. It's now time for us to get our friends and family together and build for ourselves. That's the only way we'll be safe. That's the only way that this will work. We have to start bringing each other together.
Yeah, that whole reason was there because of black men being murdered by cops.
Right.
Yeah.
She's a little confused, but she's got the spirit.
Yeah, she got the spirit, but she's definitely confused. You shouldn't be running from white folks. You should run towards white folks. I mean, the most violent areas in this country is with high density of black Americans. And the biggest killer of black folks is black folks, not white folks.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Well, it's true. And everywhere around the world where there are sub-Saharan African populations, the crime rates are higher. So I don't think it has to be that way forever. I mean, if you look at Europe 1,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago, it was just as violent as sub-Saharan Africa today. And we had the Catholic Church for a millennium enforce certain standards, and our legal system every year executed about 1% of the population. The most violent men were culled generation after generation. Now, that's not happening currently, but there's no reason why we couldn't build our own communities that have the right kind of incentives, where we reward hard work, we reward people who have values and good morals and elevate that, as opposed to black culture now, rap music, where it's, I killed someone, I got a lot of money, and that makes me high status.
That's crazy, right?
It is crazy.
You know, I hate the N-word. Sometimes I use it, not the hard ER. I use it like, if I'm feeling it, I say it. But I don't really use that word too often.
It just sounds funny.
It just sounds funny. But the thing about black people, when they use it, they want to set a double standard. They don't want white people to use it, right? But whenever I see a black man or a black woman having an argument with a white woman or a white man, the first thing they call them is the N-word.
Yeah, they call them.
Yeah.
What you doing? It's weird.
Yeah. What do you think about the case in Cincinnati where the guy supposedly used the N-word, and so they basically almost beat him to death?
You know, if he used the N-word, you're not entitled to jump someone and beat them up.
Yeah, it's just a word.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, it really hurt me, but I became an adult, and it's just a word. Right. You know what I mean? It has no influence or impact on me now. Yeah. Nothing justifies what they did, but it just comes from that mindset. It's just like we have this, what's the word? Black people are so fragile because they've been raised that way by politicians and by everything they see on TV. So they think this outrage that like they showed in Cincinnati, that was justified. The actual government, local government there is calling for them to actually arrest that man who got jumped and beat up.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Which is...
This guy?
Yeah.
Sleeping again. Boom.
This is like a party for them.
Yeah. They take pride in this. Like if the roles were reversed and that was a white, if the roles were reversed, this country would be burning down right now, literally.
Right. You're right. Mm-hmm.
I think they got him for, I forget what they charged him with, but I definitely think that's a hate crime.
What the
way that, because I know that was racially motivated.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's because black people in our schools, in the way the government has addressed problems in the black community, has been catered to in the same way. If you have a problem child and you're constantly worrying about them being satisfied and them being happy and them having everything they need, they're going to think they're entitled to everything.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to satisfy them. It's like reparations. I get the logic behind it. And if you're a descendant of a slave on a plantation and that plantation is known and we know where that money went, maybe in some cases, you're entitled to that money. But in general, it's like white Americans have been net taxpayers for decades, for 100 years.
Right.
And black Americans have been net tax recipients.
Right.
So we've paid our reparations and then some.
Yeah. Thousands of white people lost their lives so I could have the freedoms that I have today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The Civil
White
War.
men actually freed blacks here in America.
Right. And around the world. I mean, the British Empire fought wars in Africa to free black slaves in Africa from black Africans.
Yeah.
Do you think because when I look at the black community and I compare them to other ethnic groups like Latino, I mean, we're the absolute worst in every category. Do you think reparations will repair the black family?
No, I don't think so. I don't think by giving people a handout that you encourage hard work. You have to teach a man to fish. It's common sense.
It make it worse.
Yeah. Yeah, to give them a taste of the good life, and then when that money's all up, that wasn't enough.
Right. It's like people who win the lottery. They end up broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overwhelming majority of them, like over 90%, winning hundreds of millions of dollars, they're broke in 7 years. It's crazy.
Well, when you look at people in the NBA, the NFL, they make millions of dollars. They go broke.
Yeah. They made a huge documentary about that on ESPN. They said majority of all the NFL players, basketball players, professional sports in general,
Like
after a certain amount of time, they all broke.
Like the black community, do you think that's genetic?
Well, I think everything's a combination of genes and environment and culture. So I think part of it is, but it's not immutable. I mean, genes change over time, and it depends on what the culture selects for. Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, didn't have the wheel or two-story buildings before European settlers got there. They
That's
didn't have
crazy.
writing.
What was they using? Squares?
Well, the wheel was only invented like 3000 BC. It's more recent than people think. No, but
You think they would have got around to it?
eventually, in time. No, I mean the environment was different. In Europe or East Asia, you had to survive the winter, and so you had to save seeds, and you couldn't just consume every. You had to plan ahead, right? And so the environment was just different in that part of the world, and so it selected for different attributes. It's not bad. It's just we have to recognize there are really deep-seated differences. But I think we have to be forward-looking, and I think part of intentional communities, for me, is the freedom to set your own standards and say, this is what we're trying to become. And if you don't have that intentionality in how you get together and organize, well, then anyone can come in from anywhere, and then you don't determine that culture. You don't have control over it, and it's going to be probably the least common denominator.
I just don't get how our community, they embrace like the worst things in society.
I gotta think. I mean, when I listen to our music, because you go back in the past, our music was very beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
Motown back then.
and the music meant something. Like now, when you listen to the music, it's just like satanic.
Yeah. I think
And it keeps getting pushed by big corporations, and nobody calls it out. And then when you try to call it out, they call you a sellout.
Well, I think that's the Jewish community. I think that's the Jews, the music labels.
Yeah. Well, they own a majority of them,
Yeah. You think the Jewish community will let like Jewish kids rap that garbage
No, hell
and
no.
behave like that? They would never let that happen. But they'll let the black community do it. And when I say these things, the black community is like, oh, shut up. Just a sellout.
That started real early with Jewish producers, leading things in a certain direction. Tin Pan Alley, like Harlem in the early 20th century. It was Jewish producers setting a certain tone.
Didn't know that.
Wow. So, I don't believe in systemic racism the way black people twist it, like the white man's trying to keep me down. I think it's more of an environmental thing that society's created for black people, and they've accepted it because for whatever reason they haven't called out the Jewish producers or the filth that they brought in our communities. Like, you go into a black neighborhood, there's liquor stores everywhere. There's Planned Parenthood. You don't see that in the upscale white community.
I was in Huntington Beach. They got a liquor store on every corner. And there's no crime in Huntington Beach, California. It's all white.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Latino, but you don't see it. But when you put it in the black community, it's just
because of the music we listen to.
I don't know, but the white people don't go out there. They listen to it. They'll go out and start robbing and killing everybody.
But white people, they know how to turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah.
Blacks don't for some odd reason, which is crazy. Like, Nick Fuentes, right?
Sure, yeah.
He brought up a very interesting point. He says, blacks, I hear this argument. It's because of our music. It's because of our culture. Well, a lot of white people listen to that same music, but we don't do the things that's detriment to our communities as blacks.
Yeah, white people.
That's why I say whites. I think it's a capacity thing. It's gotta be.
It's like we stumbled across this word epigenetics, and I think that explains it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's
we come from different environments, so we think different, we behave different. Like you see all the twerking that black women do. They've been doing that in Africa since the beginning of time. There's nothing new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's immutable though.
Yeah.
Just like I was saying, the Germanic tribes were as violent as sub-Saharan Africa is today, 1,000 years ago. So, or 1,500 years ago. So it's
going to take 1,500 years to fix that.
Well, I mean, we can maybe get it going a little bit faster. We know more today.
Right.
Yeah, like white culture brought us the first black president in this country. He was raised by his white grandparents. That's crazy.
I think that's beautiful.
So I think you're absolutely right. It's not immutable. You can change these things.
And there's some parts of what America means and what Western civilization is that are universal in a good way. It's not just of whites and for whites. I believe there's a deep European heritage that's worth preserving, that I feel like I'm a part of, that people of European descent are a part of, and we ought to protect it. But also, like, all of the science that we discovered and shared with the world, that's not just ours. We don't have some monopoly on truth.
Right.
And government and equal rights and how we can get along as a society as a whole. I don't think that whites should be in charge of that, and if whites aren't in charge, then we can't maintain it. I think America can move forward very successfully with all different groups of people, with different backgrounds, not because it's a white civilization, but because it's based on true principles of justice. So I think you can have both. And this is one thing I see on the right. People try to conflate that America is all about ideas and white culture doesn't exist, ancestry is not important.
That's such BS.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's like, I built my house for myself and my family. If someone puts me out of my house and takes my place, but they have the same ideas, I don't care. That's my house.
Right.
So you have to care about your own, but also those ideas matter. It can be both.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the white people that founded this country, they had a blueprint what the family should look like. And when you see other ethnic groups like Asians or Latinos and even blacks, when they assimilate to that culture, they do great.
You thrive.
But so why don't you think like majority of blacks don't want to assimilate to the blueprint that the founding fathers of this country laid out?
I think because of this resentment that they have, that they were the victims of slavery and the victims of segregation and Jim Crow. And so, I mean, if that's the oppressor, you don't want to identify with the oppressor. And
you don't want to be like
anything good. Yeah, exactly. But there's good and bad, just like there's good and bad in the black community.
Right.
Like Charlie Parker was a genius. Miles Davis was a genius. I think there's a lot of good that came out of the synthesis of black American, white American culture. And we shouldn't shy away from that. But no, I mean, you have to see the good and bad in everybody. That's part of Christianity too.
Right.
It's like we're all flawed. All communities are flawed. All nations are flawed. All individuals are flawed.
Right.
You have to have hope for the future.
Yeah. I think that explains why black people came up with these ridiculous names. They don't want to go with Keith and Chris and Steve.
Michael.
So they go with
Rashonda.
they came up with these.
The danger. Defibrilla.
Yeah. Defibrilla.
That's like a heart condition.
I think it explains that. So you wouldn't call yourself a white nationalist?
No, I wouldn't. No, I think it's way past that point. America was founded by white Europeans for white Europeans, but over the last 100 years, we have invited many people from around the world into our society. We've said you'll have equality under the law. So to try to renege on that and say now you're going to be second-class citizens would be morally wrong. I would not support that. It's also not feasible. It's like there are 100 million plus non-white people in the country.
Right.
Are you going to deport 100 million people?
Right. Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
And some people have that attitude. I think it's not realistic. Maybe in some European countries where it was 99% white until a couple decades ago, repatriation is just because it was done under false pretenses. In some ways, you can make the same argument here that like my ancestors came to this country thinking it was going to be a certain way, and then that was we got rug pulled on what our country would be. But you have to balance these different interests from these different groups who are all valid and morally significant in their own right and have compassion for one another. I also believe that there's plenty of space in America. We're a huge continental country and world superpower. And so we can still benefit from other groups thriving in our country as white Americans. And that doesn't mean that we don't thrive. But we have to get our government to recognize that like projects like mine are legitimate and are protected by our constitutional rights.
Yeah.
Well, if they shut you down, they have to shut down the Jewish one. They have to shut down the black one. I don't see. I mean, it would look really bad if they come in and try to Waco y'all's community because, like you said, y'all not trying to oppress anybody. You're just trying to build your own community and preserve your own culture.
Yeah, it's a positive thing. We love our own. We want our people to do well. And I think some white nationalists have this mentality that we can only thrive if we control the country top down, but it's just not the case. I mean, especially with technology today and new possibilities, we can raise our kids with information that, you know, my parents' generation didn't have. We can create more positive cultures. We can go back in some cases to a tradition that was lost. You know, I went to school for European classical music. I studied European classical philosophy. I think we can resurrect some of that stuff, which the founding fathers were into, which, you know, the Renaissance, all these high periods of Western culture, that's what the great men were paying attention to. So we can learn that. We can also use AI in new ways. There's so many new possibilities in the world today. Having this complex that I'm not going to succeed unless this other group is totally eradicated. It just is not true.
Right.
Hey, I'm Derek from Oklahoma. I just won this Ram 2500 and 10K in cash from the Hodge twins. Check out what you can win next.
If you're lucky, this F-250, King Ranch is what they call it. F-250, 6.7 liter power stroke turbo diesel. That's what you call turbo diesel. Comes with a camper. My. Here's our new giveaway. Get out of the way. Woo! That's beautiful, right? Dodge Challenger, Hellcat. Look at the tires. It's a V50 in this. It's supercharged. Wide body, it means it grabs the road. You can't flip this. Look how sexy this car is. You can look like Stephen Hawking and still pick up a chick in this car. And if you're in it right now, you get 10 times the interest. That's a 10x for every dollar you spend. Go to officialhorsetwins.com and anything you vote to say, get you automatic. And it win. Our King Ranch, Hellcat, and camper, because we some good guys. Yeah. You gonna say something? It's hot out here, man. No purchase necessary. Going where prohibited. See official rules for details. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. Like when we was kids, we noticed the differences because we actually grew up in a poor white neighborhood. My parents did not want to live in the poor black neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we noticed the differences. Like we had white friends, we had black friends.
Yeah, 10 years old, we noticed there's a huge difference between white and black.
Yeah. Like we had our first gun put on us when we was like 11 or 12. And we was going to basketball practice on the black side of town.
The point guard pulled a gun on me. And
the
took
point guard on the team pulled a gun on us and said, "Give me all your money." I didn't have shit. I had like a quarter.
You gave him a quarter?
Yeah, I gave it to him. He stuck the gun in my face.
A lot of money back then.
Yeah, that was a lot of money.
That was
to me.
lunch money. Remember, lunch per day was like 25 cents.
Yeah. So it's like I had such horrible experiences on that side of town. And it's weird. My black friends, let's go play basketball in the West End. It was the West End at the time. I sound like playing over there. And it's like, why? I was like, it's too many niggas over there for me. And it was weird that I'm saying this at like 11, 12 years old. And they started dying laughing. They thought it was the funniest thing because I'm mostly black. So, and it's like, we was hanging out with our black friends from the West End. They came to the white side. So it's just walking up and down the street. And I think this is when the whole pants thing started, like showing your ass, the pants sagging.
Sagging, yeah.
It started when we was in middle school. So we're walking with them, and all of them sagging the pants. My brother's in the back, like, look at these niggas. So we're just like walking down the street, it's summertime, we're out of school.
Yeah.
And then we go into this convenience store. As soon as we get in the convenience store, they like disperse like roaches when you turn a light on, like 2 o'clock in the morning. And they started stealing. And then the guy throws us out the store, and then
He's calling us all kinds of N-words.
this is the South.
He's one of those Habib guys.
Yeah, he was calling us the N-word.
It smelled like horrible in that damn 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it was just a convenience store, family-owned convenience.
Yeah, okay.
But we got outside the store and they had all these snacks, and I went up and say, "Man, can I have some?" He said, "Man, go back and get your own." It was just like a weird experience. And we noticed all this when we was 10, 11, 12 years old with our black friends.
And we had white friends. The experience with them was kind of crazy, but it was totally different.
Right.
It was more wholesome though.
Yeah. I remember the first time I used to play with this, my friend, I ain't gonna say his name because he's probably listening. He came to one of my comedy shows. I used to go up to the top of the hill and we used to play baseball together, right? And I started noticing, I say, "Hey, man, every time I come up here, your mama calls you in the house." I said,
Dad was totally cool.
"Yeah, Dad was cool."
Right.
And I said, why you keep going in the house? He said, "Oh, my mom doesn't want me to play with niggas." I was like, oh damn. And then I had another white friend. His name was GB.
Why you saying his name?
This weird ass white kid, dude. We go to his house, man. He said, "Y'all want to see something cool?" I said, "Sure." Right? He calls his dog in there. He starts jerking off his dog.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, no race of people is perfect. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Right. That's why I tell you that story.
Uh-huh.
It was screwed up whoever we talked to.
Yeah, but we lived in a poor area.
Yeah, but
He had a dirt floor in his house.
mm-hmm.
The white kid.
Rural
There are
Virginia.
differences. I think the vast majority of people in all groups are good people, though. You know, they want to be.
You
left
sure
alone.
about that?
I do believe
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
maybe they have a bad day, and then
Yeah.
that's what you see on YouTube, and that represents who they are as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of genetics, like when you're born with blue eyes, blonde hair, I think you're born a rapist, a murderer. If you just evil, I think you're born with that. I think there's not all people, but I'm thinking there's a subsection in every culture, every race that there are evil people, and it's not immutable. Like when you look at these people, these serial killers, I think you're born like that. Like my sex, I'm attracted to females, right? I'm attracted to white females, Latino females. That's my go-to, right? I think I'm born that way. Like you have certain wants
Kevin,
and likes.
you dated black chicks. You just had horrible experiences with black chicks. That's why you're not attracted to them now. They're loud,
I mean,
they're
but
obnoxious,
but
and
my
they're violent.
but my preference is white and Latino.
Yeah, Latina.
Yeah.
Latinos dudes.
I think inherently people, you have to. It takes absolutely no energy to be evil. It takes a lot of energy to be a good person, and I think for the most part, I think you're born who you are. Of course, you can change some characteristics with a good family, but I think if you're a bad seed, I don't think you can change that.
I've seen people turn around in remarkable ways, though, especially when they've been saved and start believing in Jesus and going to church and getting the right influences. It's not really up to us to decide who's lost and who's beyond salvation. I think you have to hold out that hope for everybody, even if it's not realistic. And realistically, I think you're kind of right. A certain percentage of people just get a bad
Like I believe in the death penalty. If you intentionally take someone's life, you planned it, and the evidence is overwhelming, and we can prove that you did it, I think you should be taken off this earth.
You should be hung from a tree.
Yeah, yeah. Like I see a lot of like these vicious criminals, and they give them a life sentence. That person should be taken off this planet.
Right. And then we're paying for that for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Like a perfect example up there in Cincinnati. All those people that was involved in that riot, whatever you want to
They
call
shouldn't
it.
have been walking the streets.
They shouldn't have been on the streets. Like, I'm a big fan of 3 strikes, you're out. And that was a thing when I was growing up. But they got rid of it. The liberals did.
They said it oppressed black people. I was like, no, it oppressed evil people.
Yeah, it oppresses black people because they're, well,
Repeat offenders.
repeat offenders.
It just, they. I think the Joe Biden, what was that?
He called them super predators.
Yeah, I think that is true. I think there are evil people amongst us of all races, and we give them a pass, and we put them back on the streets to repeat again. Perfect example, what happened to the couple in Cincinnati. Those people are violent criminals, multiple felonies.
Right.
And they're walking the streets, and then look at what the city government does. They don't even want to really hold those people accountable. Oh, the white guy will credit all that, like blaming the victim.
Right.
It's like weird. Like there's evil people, and I think those people in our local, they even had a pastor, a black pastor, that was saying those very same things. I was like, these are some evil, wicked people that shouldn't even be elected officials in our government.
No, definitely. I think not everyone is prepared to participate in civilization, civil society as equals, but we should respect that equality under the law for those who earn it. But in all previous societies, there would be classes of people, not just slaves, but serfs, and there were different ranks that you could be at. Aristotle, his justification for slavery was that some people are by nature given foresight and others aren't. So if someone is not given an ability to foresee the future and plan ahead, they have to be cared for. Athens was a democracy, right? But only a minority of people there were citizens. Most people were slaves, or they were resident aliens who didn't have rights. So, and that's how the United States was from its inception. A minority of the people living in North America could vote for our government. And I don't know if that's exactly the kind of thing to bring back, but in the past we've had literacy tests in order to vote, or just some basic standards.
Something. You have to know the difference between a man and a woman. It's just.
Yeah, I want to get to like the governor in Arkansas. She just passed some anti-Semitic laws in your state, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Unfortunately, we're one of those states. Laws like that were passed.
Yeah, why do you think Republicans have this allegiance? Well, I would say Democrats too, but Republicans are open about it. Like Democrat voters, they're totally against Israel, right? But the Democrat politicians are not.
It's growing in the conservatives. The constituency of the conservatives, we don't with it either.
Yeah, well, 50% of us are not against it. But that's like the boomers. 50% of the Republican voters are like, they love Israel for whatever reason.
This is what they passed. Using the symbols and images associated with classic anti-Semitism, claims of Jews killing Jesus or blood liable to characterize Israel or Israelis, drawing comparisons with contemporary Israeli politics due to that of the Nazis.
That's anti-Semitic. So what role did they play in the death and crucifixion of Jesus?
I think I know it, but I'm sure you know it.
Well, Jesus called them the synagogue of Satan. That's my view. I don't think all Jews have that kind of blood guilt because of it. But I have some views about Judaism and its origins that let me believe they're not a truth-seeking people in the way that the Greeks were, for example. Their whole religion is kind of tribal in nature, where they believe they're a special chosen people and they don't have to treat others equally. It's not a universalistic, we're going to find the one truth and share it. It's we're special because of how we were born. God just likes us for no particular reason. Like, why did he pick Abraham exactly? It's not quite explained. He was a man of faith, but for me, it's sort of like the ethos of a nomadic or hunter-gatherer tribal society versus the ethos of a civilized society. In nomadic hunter-gatherer times, you have to trust the tribe like it's everything. because you can't make it as an individual. In civilized society, like how Europe was from 7,000 years ago on, you had yeoman farmers, people who owned their own land, had to work it, had responsibilities, looked after their livestock. They weren't just kind of parasitizing their environment in the way that nomadic people do. So it looks to me like you have this kind of nomadic herder mentality that all of a sudden is put in a civilizational context where they have a lot of power and authority. So I just see it as fundamentally backward. And I think that's why Jesus repudiates that morality. And I have controversial views on the Old Testament. I don't think that most of the Old Testament reflects the true God. It's like the Gnostics believed that the God of the Old Testament was a fake demiurge, and then the true God is something else, and Jesus is a representative of that true God. I don't go that far. I think all things reflect God's providence. And so what God did through the Jews was intended. What he did through the Greeks and Greek philosophy and all these different groups, there's a purpose behind it. And I have faith in that. But this kind of irrational, like Jews are a special chosen people. They can basically do no wrong. And whatever they do to others, well, that's goyim and it doesn't count morally. There are many Jews who have that belief system. And that tendency towards parasitism also, like the occupations historically that Jews have taken on, like banking, where they're issuing loans. It's even in the Old Testament. You know, you're allowed to lend it interest to Gentiles, but not to Jews. And so, yeah, with all of that going for them, and then they crucify the incarnation of God on earth. That's not ideal. So I think everyone can be saved, though, and I don't have this animus towards Jewish people. I've had a lot of Jewish friends, but yeah, we are a product of collectively where our people has come from, not just ourselves as individuals. I think individualism has limits, and in some contexts it's important. Like in a rational scientific discourse, I listen to your ideas. Whatever you bring to the table, I'm going to engage with. I'm not going to do ad hominem, you know, where you came from, talk about your mama, whatever. That's not appropriate. But morally speaking, like we are responsible for each other. We are our brother's keeper. And that's why I'd like to see you not join a white community, but improve the black community.
No, I gave up on the black community. Dude, that's a lost cause. No.
Well,
I would get killed before.
Eric, that's not my hill to die on. The on their own.
You know what I find so contradictory with Judaism and Christianity? They say they're God's chosen people, but they've denounced that God who said those things about them. Yeah, but yeah, they don't believe in that God, but that God promised them that they're the chosen people. This is their land, Israel, which was a family. It wasn't a nation. It was a family, and their offspring of that family. That was Israel. Eric, do you think what's going on, like me and my brother, I think there's, without a doubt, what they're doing to the Palestinians, I think that's genocide.
Obviously. Yeah. At least ethnic cleansing, arguably genocide.
At the least.
Right. Yeah,
so
at
why
the
do you
very-
think Christians don't see that? Atheists see that. Atheists see it, but Christians...
It's really brainwashing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of this movement in evangelical Christianity. The Scofield Bible was a part of it in the early 20th century, but the Catholic Church had the position that Christendom supplants Israel as the covenantal people, right? Christians are God's chosen people today. But they tried to reinterpret that and put Jews back, despite them rejecting their Messiah. They're still the chosen people somehow. And millions of Christians believe that. So this is me being a conspiracy theorist, but I think that a lot of the leadership in Christian churches is actually Jewish. They don't talk about it.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I've met a lot of pastors, especially out in rural Republican areas, where they don't seem like a
They've
Gentile
been
to me.
systematically put there for a reason, to brainwash people. Yeah, office.
Greg Locke?
Oh yeah, I've met Greg Locke. I've had him on my show.
He's been here in the office.
And he
tried
did
to destroy the credibility of your people in Israel. But we break that spirit of propaganda on the internet that has lied and sowed discord and deception, especially to the younger generation, because we know that your word still stands. When you looked at Abraham and you said, I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse them that curse you. And God, may we be a people that will never compromise or flinch in the face.
Yeah, enough of that. He's a Christian pastor.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Look what he tweeted.
All of Hamas must be utterly destroyed. I was like, I want to see Hamas. I mean, where? I never see Hamas.
They just say Hamas and they just mean anybody in Gaza.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you side with the Palestinians, they say you're a Hamas supporter. You're a terror supporter.
Yeah. The idea that Israel or the Jews or today, God's chosen people, I think people should have some like humility about making those claims. Even like Black Hebrew Israelites, they think they're the chosen people.
Oh, those are some more nuts.
Christian identity people think that whites are the real Israelites.
Right.
Like I take a view that I'm not an expert in all these ancient texts. I don't know exactly what started when. I started researching the archaeology of Judaism, and this is kind of interesting. A lot of their ritual practices actually didn't get started until about 150 BC. So like the ritual baths that they're mentioned in the New Testament, Jesus sees some people coming out of the water and so forth. Those didn't exist in Palestine until 150 BC when the Hasmonean dynasty took over. So before that, the Greeks were in control. And then this Jewish dynasty is, they have a revolt and they're in charge for about 80 years. And it seems like during that 80-year period, a lot of the dietary laws, ritual customs, there's all of this like chalkware instead of pottery because of certain laws that are in, I don't know if it's Deuteronomy or where, but on the way that you're supposed to ritually cleanse certain materials and not others. So all of a sudden, all the actual physical culture associated with the laws of Judaism crops up for the first time. And if you go back to like 500 BC in Israel or in the Jewish community or Judean community in Egypt on the island of Elephantine, there's evidence of polytheism. So I think people should take a step back and say, like, we don't know the truth about our history. We don't even know who the true Israelites were. Genetically, that's not known because all we have is later Israelite people. And they're mixed with the local Canaanites. And even the Hasmonean dynasty, they converted Edomites and other groups to Judaism, and they started all being known as Jews. So, even if God did at some point in time kind of arbitrarily choose, it's this ethnic group, they're my favorite, they're the special ones, we don't really know who that group is.
Right. Like a lot of Christians here in America, I've noticed they see Jews as being white.
Yeah, right. Well, Ashkenazi Jews are approximately 50% European by ancestry.
But it's like a mulatto race, right?
Right.
The Jews.
Yeah, and then Levantine groups are relatively closely related to European groups. So they look mostly white. I mean, there are some people from the Levant, from Syria, that look white, like Bashar al-Assad. He has blue eyes. He looks like a white guy. But yeah, I mean, I was raised around a lot of Jews. I was from the border of LA and Orange County in Southern California. I went to an arts high school that was maybe like 50% Jewish in Orange County. I liked a lot of people.
Orange County, California?
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to live out there like 15, 16 years.
Yeah, and I liked a lot of my Jewish friends. But I argued with them back then about Palestine and, what they've done to those people.
Yeah, it's amazing how they cherry picked that one verse out of the Bible, which is 1,500 pages. It's like the rest of the Bible doesn't matter. It's just that verse. That's all that matters. That's crazy.
To say that God's chosen peoples, that verse was, he uttered those words, 3,500 years ago? Something like that? And just discount the whole entire Bible is like intellectually dishonest.
I mean, if you read the Bible, it's constantly basically the Jews making mistakes. God tells them to do one thing, and they screw it up again and again. They screw up. So why do they have this mentality that now they're on the right side of history and they're not making a huge mistake now? It's like, do they read their own Bible?
This really popular YouTuber, Officer Tatum. He's a black guy. I've had him on the show. And he came out and made a post on Twitter that he's a Zionist as a black guy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? I think it's nuts.
Zionism.
I think if you define Zionism to be the idea that Jewish people should have a state for themselves, I don't have a huge problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people deserve self-governance and self-respect
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to organize their own affairs. I think that's how you get good cultures and not this either parasitical relationship
Mm-hmm.
or a relationship of resentment and feeling like you're the oppressed group. People should be left alone to do their own thing. Obviously, that's my ideology. So in that sense, you could call me a Zionist and that Jews should be allowed to have their own communities, have their own country. I think it should be okay if white people want to have our own country.
Yeah, but the problem I have with Zionism, they've infiltrated our government and they have a huge influence on our government. They put Israel first. That's the only problem I have with Zionism. Like
Right.
your definition of Zionism, I have no problem with them having their own state, their own country. But for them to have the influence on our own government,
And
I don't like it.
to commit a genocide and they're above reproach is like, it's insane to me. Because what
Right.
they're doing, man,
They always bring up the Holocaust, what Hitler did to the Jews during World War II. Look what you're doing to the Palestinians. How is that any different? Oh, what's this? Why Christians must stand with Israel. God's covenant hasn't expired. Biblical proof. What, he put out a book or something?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably like a YouTube link or something.
yeah.
Let me see. What's his link?
But a lot of Christians don't know Judaism is not even Christianity.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And
A lot of people are low IQ.
Yeah.
They don't read.
The thing about that word anti-Semitism, the things we say, like when I criticize Israel for the things they're doing to another Semitic group of people, they try to label you as anti-Semitic. And the same things they criticize, say, Iraq or Iran. These are Semitic people too, and they say they give them the same criticisms, but you would never hear them say, oh, you being anti-Semitic against Muslims. It's only applied when you criticize a Jewish state or a Jewish person.
Yeah, that's a strange thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
And
I
that
remember
comes from Zionism. They took control of that word.
they mess with language. And with Zionism, too, they like to do a Mott and Bailey, where on the one hand, Zionism just means we should have our own space and not be persecuted. And that's the easy, defensible position. And then when you're not looking, they retreat into, well, Zionism also means we have to go out of our way and serve the interests of Israel at all cost, because they have this kind of paranoid mentality that the world is out to get them for some reason.
Oh, man.
Yeah, do you think, I've been pretty vocal on our YouTube, our Twitter.
Real quick, just look at that real quick.
I'm a proud Zionist. The war in Gaza made me more of a Zionist than before. I don't care if you disagree. You're entitled to your own opinion.
Yeah,
Thank you
when
for-
I found out the war against the Palestinians, because I would always hear these Palestinians say free Palestine, I said, what are these idiots talking about? Why y'all keep picking on God's chosen people? Because I was very naive and ignorant to this whole situation. So I went on TikTok, started Googling. I found this one Jew. She said she had a Palestinian passport. It was like 1940. He said it was Muslims, it was Christians, there was Jews, and we all live amongst ourselves. I was like, and I looked at a map, it said UK Palestine. I said, okay, this place used to be called Palestine. And then I started investigating the war, and I seen all these people getting killed, and
1948.
Gaza and the West Bank, there's no grocery stores, there's no mall. I see the people walking in the streets, they don't even have shoes. The houses are literally
Demolished.
rubble. I mean, you look at the drone footage of this place, it looks demonic, and it looks like something out of, just end of the world times.
Looks dystopian.
And then you look at Israel, it's not a scratch on it. It's like, how can you not call that a genocide when you got a nuclear power with these, we funding them billions of dollars. These people have absolutely nothing, no resource, anything. And you're just killing these people. They have no food, no resource, no clothes.
But then you hear Republicans like whatever say, no, they're not starving. They're getting aid. I'm like, they don't have grocery stores, but you think they're not starving.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Yeah. It makes you angry. I mean, I've seen those images of children being torn apart, and I don't like looking at that stuff, and I don't like thinking about it, but it's probably the most evil thing happening in the world today.
Yeah.
And America is supporting it. And it's sad. It's because they own our politicians, because AIPAC and other Jewish lobbies are the biggest contributors to congressional campaigns. Our representatives owe more allegiance financially to them than to the American people. And they have the money. That's the problem.
Right. I think like Russia can't donate to politicians, Iran, Iraq, they can't do that, but we give them a pass because under that hidden that word they are our biggest ally. It's all a lie.
Right. Yeah, and people believe that like Israel is doing something for us in the Middle East when we've been fighting their wars for the last 20 years.
Right. We've
Every
been
time.
losing our people to fight your war. Oh, if they wasn't our biggest ally, if we wasn't this tight with Israel, I don't think 9/11 happens. I think that's why 9/11 happens, because of what we did to all those Muslim countries in that area. It's because that's why they hate us. Like when that happened, it's like I was like, what, early 20s, and it was telling us why they did it. Oh, they don't like our freedoms. I'm just like,
they're terrorists.
They hate us. They hate us. They hate our freedoms. They hate our religion. It had nothing to do with that.
No, they hate our affiliation with Israel.
Yeah.
That's the big problem.
Right. Well, I mean, 9/11 probably happened. And I don't know, but some people think it's because Mossad planned it in order to get our support to go to war with Iraq.
It's a big
Afghanistan.
psyop.
Yeah. You've seen the dancing Israelis and
Them damn Jews. Sometimes I think they're worse than the blacks. Yeah, there's a lot of Jews that support Palestine.
Come from Israel. Our people come from Israel. You have come from your people.
Zionism is a political movement which is causing bloodshed.
What are you talking about? That's where our family is from. I'm from Israel. How can you hold that flag?
This is because the actions of the Zionist people, they are responsible.
What are you talking about? That's where ancestors.
We lived in a beautiful peace.
What flag is that? How can you say that? You're a Jew.
We lived in a beautiful peace with Palestinian people for hundreds of years.
How can you say that? You're not a Jew. You're not a Jew. How dare you?
When Zionism
You're not a Jew.
He is a Jew, right?
he looks like a Jew.
He looks like one of me.
How can you say that you're Jewish? How can you shame your own people?
Who is a Jew?
We're Jews. This is our people.
He was against Judaism.
We're all Jews here. Yeah, so how are they saying that?
Because they believe in God. Jewish, I'm standing it. I don't want that.
These are actually Christian Jews.
That is our country. How dare you say that about our own people? What's wrong with you? Fuck you.
Women.
That's Ashkenazi Jew, right?
Oh, yeah.
They like mixed with the white Europeans in that area, huh?
Eastern Europeans. Yeah. He's probably Polish.
Looking at this woman, your society that you're building up there, it's a patriarchal society. It's not going to be like a matriarch. They submit to the man.
We believe in traditional gender roles.
Right.
We don't enforce it strictly. Like if you're in a household where the wife works, that's not necessarily a deal breaker.
Right.
You know, we have to be realistic with where we are in the culture too.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to have spotted track records. People are going to have issues. There are a lot of things that are just unhealthy about the way we're living, and we got bad messages from an early age.
Like
it's about looking forward. You know.
Yeah. It's just set up. Well, I don't know. I think society would be a lot better off if women didn't vote. I think they should have the right to vote. I don't know. It's like they vote for abortion and they vote for the wrong things, and they want all the positions of power, like the head of the FBI, the CIA, Secret Service, but they don't want to be on the construction company. You know, they only want they just want the power. They don't want the equality.
And then when they get the authority, the decisions they make, so detrimental. And like a lot of women, it's like, I know both genders, like men and women, we have a wickedness to us. Nobody's perfect. But I always thought there was a special evil in a woman because I think that's why we have that story in the Bible about the Garden of Eden
what God created, and then a woman destroyed it like in seconds. You look.
The next day.
Yeah, the next day. Took him 7 days, took her 2 seconds. Right? And then you look at that whole situation in Cincinnati. You look at the women that are in power, the police chief, and how they run their police departments. It's like these are wicked people. They shouldn't never even
they have
the
empathy
opportunity
for the criminals. That's why they're on the street. They're too empathetic.
Their sense of justice isn't appropriate for the public sphere. The natural
Mm-hmm.
domain of women is the domestic sphere. They care about care and equality.
Mm-hmm.
If you're managing a bunch of children, you have to really supervise them and think about their feelings and make
Mm-hmm.
sure that everyone's being treated, given enough resources, et cetera. Men think about hierarchy and order and purity.
Right.
And there's no reason, evolutionarily speaking, for women to prioritize those things. So we're putting women in a sphere or a domain that just doesn't meet their natural capacities, natural abilities. But also, there is a distribution among men and women. There are some men who are very feminine, and they're not going to live up to a man's virtue.
Right.
And then there are some women who are really exceptional and have made scientific discoveries and stuff like that. I don't think we should handicap or kneecap the women who want to be exceptional and have really high IQs and want to be original. But we have to also recognize there is this kind of bell curve, men and women, or same with like black people and white people. There is the real bell curve. We have different dispositions and skills on average, but that doesn't mean that like a black person can't have a prominent position in American society, or that white people can't be kind of trashy in our own right in certain cases. And some women can be exceptional, and we should respect and look up to women like that.
Yeah, what was that philosopher? Was it Socrates? He thought society should be based on, how do you put it? Like to be in a position of authority, you had to pass a certain level test or something like that to be able to participate in society.
Yeah, Plato.
I think
in the Republic.
Oh, it's Plato. Yeah, so I think like you have so many people that's very low IQ, very stupid, and they're dangerous. I think you should be able to have a certain level of competency before you can actually vote in a democracy, because your decisions, your vote could ruin our society.
You should at least prove that you know about the issues that you're voting on.
Right.
Just ask some basic questions about history, or the bare minimum, prove that you can read the language that you're voting in.
Yeah.
We don't even do that.
Yeah, because the majority of people vote for Democrats just because they think the right is racist.
Right.
I was raised in that environment, that culture. And I used to believe it until I actually started to read a book.
Right.
And actually applied some logic. I was like, why am I voting for these? Like the Democrat Party, these people are weird. They put men and women's sports, the things that about their sense of what equality is, like affirmative action. It's just wicked reasoning.
Well, affirmative action start out with good intentions.
But good intentions have led to some huge atrocities. But it's like that whole DEI thing, like that police chief in Cincinnati. You can't tell me there's not a guy there that could do that job better than her. But she's got that job because she's a female. And I think that comes from feminism. I think that comes from liberalism. And you just cut all that shit out by not letting women vote. As simple as that. I'm trying to like there's exceptional women. There are.
Yeah.
But they are not the norm.
They're
built a certain way. Men are built a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think women should be allowed to vote because equality under the law. I think it works, but with standards, like the founding fathers envisioned. So if a woman can pass a test of, what you're voting about, the policies, the laws, history, basic facts about the same stuff that really, like, to become a citizen of the U.S., you have to pass a test knowing certain basic things. Even if all voters had to pass that test, I think the way that people voted would be very different.
My wife became a citizen, and that test was a joke.
Well, that's true.
It was a
but it's
total
better
joke.
than nothing.
Yeah, it's
right
better
now, it's
than nothing,
nothing.
but it's next to nothing.
Yeah.
It was
Baby
a complete
steps.
joke. Then they gave her American flag. She's all waving and shit. I was like, man, I would have failed your ass. Yeah. I think a lot of it is just education. You look at our school system, man, and they teach us, they bring us up to be stupid. Because when you graduate high school, you don't know how to drive. You don't know how to fix anything. You don't know how to. You don't even know how to balance your checkbook. Like you don't know a trade or anything. It's just they teach you the bare minimum. Half the people don't even know what the Constitution exists or the capitals of every state. I mean, our school system is just like putrid. And I can speak from experience because we're originally from Virginia. I grew up in the school system out there, and then I went to military, spent some time in there. I lived in Southern California. Kids went through that school system. When I came out here to Vegas, man, the Vegas school system sucks hard. There's some areas up by Green Valley and Henderson that the school system is really good, but other than that, man, you look at the ratings of some of these schools and you see like my kids will bring home videos of what kids do in school. That's why I'm homeschooling my kids.
Right. Well, if you have universal public education, Common Core, it's politicized.
Right.
Because it's in the interest of either political party. In this case, it is the Democrats because they're the ones who, for better or worse, took the initiative and got in and set the policy. Probably because they're more like feminine in their inclinations overall. The left is more feminine. Women are concerned about children. Men don't spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Right. Yeah. I'm horrible at that. Too busy working.
Yeah.
Trying to make money. Yeah.
Well, so you can't leave public education to one centralized government department that's going to politicize it, that's going to make it push people in a certain direction. You're not going to prioritize those basic skills that if you had a voucher system and let more private schools compete or incentivized homeschooling, then parents would obviously have a direct interest in preparing their kids for life instead of indoctrinating them to vote a certain way.
Right.
They wouldn't spend however many hours teaching about the Holocaust. They would teach how to fix your car and how to balance your checkbook and all of that. And there are voucher systems, and I think actually the Republican Party has moved in the right direction on that issue in recent years. It's just not far enough. But ultimately, it's on parents. Like in most U.S. states, at least, it is reasonably easy to homeschool. And if you can't afford a private school, maybe you make some sacrifices and your wife stays home and you take control over what your kids are being exposed to. Because you're trusting your whole future, your child's future, 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day to government employees who have their own interests.
Their own agenda.
Right. So it's irresponsible. So that's why in our community, we only homeschool or we send our kids to private schools.
What you sneaking up on me like that for?
Hey, man, I got some bad news. I got thick blood. That's what Doc says. I was like, thick blood? What the hell is that? Pretty much told me I got glue in my veins.
No shit, I got it too with twins, you dumbass.
Why you tell me about it?
You think you got thick blood and I don't have it?
You got thick blood? Why do you tell me? We just walk around with thick blood, about to drop dead, and you don't tell me about it?
Look, I already got it fixed. Relax.
Well, what is that?
Got this nitric oxide booster right here. The white people at the warehouse got this for us.
Where?
It's like they knew that we needed it or something.
What is it? Help my blood flow?
Yeah, it helps blood flow. It's got arginine, got beetroot powder, got citrulline. It's got all the good.
Oh, it's got pine extract in it too. That's real good.
That good blood flow. Helps your brain. Helps your, helps your breathing.
Yeah.
Your anxiety. Helps all that.
Well, if anybody would know, it'd be white people. Thanks, white people. I'll go ahead and take one of these right now. Oh. Damn, I can feel it kicking in. My mushroom tip is swelling. Oh man, I can feel it. Ah! Yeah, I can feel it in my veins. I feel like, I don't know what I feel like, but I feel better.
Thick blood or not, this some damn good nitric oxide boost. Go to officialheartstwins.com.
Yeah.
Get that blood flowing. Get my get your own. This is mine. You get your own.
How do you, where do you get the money to fund that operation? It's like 150 acres?
Yeah, about 160 acres in between. So all the people who initially came together, we self-funded this purchase.
Okay.
The way it got together in the first place, I've been advocating for this for years, like a decade online. And so I made a video kind of talking about how beneficial a network of intentional communities could be, not just for our kids and ourselves, but also kind of politically speaking. It's like before you change the culture, you have to have that foundational lifestyle change. Like you as an individual, you're preoccupied by things. You're not meeting up with like-minded people. You're having to censor yourself at work. Well, if we start living differently, then we're going to think differently. we'll meet with each other. I'm a big believer in discourse and dialogue. And right now we have these echo chambers or people are anon. And if you just get in person, you're forced to start thinking more realistically. You don't have these kind of abstract ideological concerns. You start thinking about how can we look after our kids, grandkids? How can we, put our priorities in order? So they came down, the guys who co-founded this, to help me develop something in southern Missouri on my land. I wanted to run a media center and a camp. Just start that way, a school, and then I was going to help them find land nearby because some of them did want to move down. Ultimately, though, the energy was there. Just getting together with people who believed in making that real lifestyle change, living in a different way, it was so powerful that we decided to throw everything. So I don't know, 8, 9, 10 of us, I forget the exact number. We pooled resources, we set a budget. And luckily, we had this guy, Peter Siri, who's now our secretary, who came up from South America. He ran intentional communities in South America, in Ecuador. It was like a vegan-based thing. Actually, it was only eating fruit. So it was fruitarian.
Oh, wow. That's very restrictive.
Yeah. So eventually, though, he started eating meat and his political views changed.
That's the diet. He had to be a Democrat eating only fruit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the diet of a monkey, just eating fruit and bananas. I tried the whole vegan thing for a while, but man.
But he gained a lot of skills down there.
Yeah.
He's the one who came up with the majority of our legal system for actually making this work. He has experience in construction, and he's a licensed contractor. So he came to the table. Other people with resources came to the table. We just got lucky, basically. I was trying to push it online for a long time. I didn't have the resources or the know-how. I had kind of big ideas, but that was it. But it's a beautiful thing about the internet. You connect with so many people who otherwise you would never know.
Right.
That's also why I have a belief in the success of intentional communities for all groups going forward. Because, maybe you don't want to try to save the ghetto blacks, but you can find some people who are like-minded, and have something.
Our culture is
forward
really
with.
like the black culture. Like it's very strong. It's like you can have a good black family, and that black culture that they see online and all the other black kids live in, it like metastasizes in getting your kids. I had a tough time like talking to my kids politically and getting all that victimization bullshit out of their head because of how they see other black people behaving.
Yeah,
that culture is strong.
All the black kids, as soon as you, like my kid, when we came here to Vegas, my boy,
turned into a sub-Saharan, full-blown.
He turned into a full-blown sub-Saharan overnight. He kept saying bro over and over. I was like, why are you talking like that? I said, stop talking like that. You got a brain, use it. Be articulate when you speak. Don't try to sound or try to replicate these other black kids. I said, majority of these kids are going to be dead or in jail within the next 5 years. And a majority of them are in jail already.
And we speak from experience.
A lot of our...
this is Pastor Manning.
Eric, you got here, Pastor Manning. Start it over, Joe.
Ask God to help us because only God can help black people where they are. Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone. All of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation. They don't know how, and we need to admit it. I know you don't like it, but you need to stop shucking and jiving. We got a problem. Nigeria produces oil every year, yet the children over there are hungry and pot-bellied and walking barefoot. We got a problem. You talk about the Hutus and the Tutsis. Look what's going on in Zimbabwe now with Mugabe. We got a problem, black folk. and forget about Zimbabwe and South Africa, Nigeria. Look at what y'all have done in Harlem. You can't even hold on to Harlem. We got a problem. Black folk don't understand the world. You can get mad with me all you want. You can say what you want, but you can't prove me wrong. Now, I'm not saying this because I hate black folk. I'm saying it because I love you enough to tell the truth. And the only person going to ever help us get out of the situation is going to be God. There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind. He does not understand the world. He doesn't. I don't care if he learned medicine. He doesn't understand the world. He can't even hold on to Harlem. When he was here, he moved out. We got to talk to the Lord. People, we got to talk to God. And black women. Shirley Chisholm, Harriet Tubman, Coretta King, one of her boys. Yeah, okay, then we got a black president. But you black women, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all gonna let that white woman? What's wrong with you black women voting for Barack? Don't you understand? It should have been a black room if you're gonna have a black president. What's wrong with you? Y'all ain't got no sense, you black women. Your men treat you like the dogs, like your dogs. They walk all over you. They make you pay the bills at home, and then the preachers pimp you in the churches and make you pay the bills. Y'all crazy black women buying these black men private jets, the tune of $50 million for a ride around in a private jet. And you talk about, look at our pastor. What's wrong with y'all women? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And what's wrong with a black man that would take that kind of money out of a poor neighborhood and buy himself a private jet? What's wrong with y'all niggas? What's wrong with you?
Wow.
He was going off. I tell you what. I think
agree or disagree?
I think black people, that's tough love. You got hell, I'm with it.
Yeah. It's about taking responsibility for yourself, not blaming others. I don't think it has to be this way.
It doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It don't.
That's why I believe in intentional communities, because it takes a village to raise a child. And there have been studies, with like good kids and bad kids and who influences whom. Turns out the bad kids influence the good kids, like basically every time.
Yeah.
So you have to control your environment for your kids, your communities. You know about in evolutionary theory, RK selection theory? You heard about that? Okay, so some animals, their strategies are selective, which means they have a bunch of kids and they don't take care of them. They just send them out there, see who makes it. And then other animals, they're K-selected, and they have a few kids, they invest a lot of care in those few kids. Now, in a chaotic environment where there aren't strict rules, it's just every man for himself, the R-selective strategy wins out. K-selective strategies only work when you have borders, rules, and people are held to certain standards.
Right.
So that's why I believe in intentional communities. If you want values, you have to have borders where those values are protected, because
So
the broader culture.
The black community's kind of doing that R thing, having all these kids out of wedlock and the dad's not around. That's so black people, we behave like dogs and cats. What? No. Like, you ever see the dog, how many pups they're born at one time? And a cat? We behave like dogs and cats. Yeah. There's no decision behind how many kids you're going to have. You're just having the little kids and... You're just having a bunch of kids. You're not taking, birth control and... Which is a lot of truth to that, because you look at the majority of black people's families, there's no father. Yeah, and that father has kids with several different women. It's just a destructive culture. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, a majority of the men, white, black, Latino, doesn't really matter their ethnicity, majority of those men have no fathers, right?
Is that true?
Yeah, it's a strong correlation. Just from what I read. The majority of men, regardless of your race, majority of those men are in prison for violent and criminal acts because they have no father. No father.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you left it out.
It's more prevalent in black communities.
Yeah.
But if you look at the white and you look at the Asian, a majority of those people, not all of them, but a majority of them, they come from broken homes.
Right.
No father.
Interestingly, when the mother's missing, it's a single father household, those kids do all right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because I see a lot of, I think that's a great explanation for the black community, because there's no father around. And you got these young men who never learned how to be a man from their father, and they were raised by these loud, obnoxious black women.
And they act like women. They behave like women.
And they're very violent like women. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. Now, men and women are different. I think it's sort of related to the RK selective theory as well. So you mentioned Socrates, Plato before. There's this idea that some things are in the column of the limit, And then other things are in the column of the unlimited. And it affects all sorts of different things in society. He believes in the forms. Well, above the forms, there's the monad, which is a source of limitation. It's the masculine principle. It's the source of essence. So what something is in a fixed way. That comes from what unifies it, what makes it one thing. And then there's the indefinite dyad, the unlimited. That's the principle of femininity and also of energy and procession and proliferation and all of that. And both are necessary. But if you have a context where the monad doesn't preside over and limit the indefinite dyad, it's chaos.
Right.
And the masculine has to positively assert itself to have that role of leading the feminine. And that's on us as white civilization. We let our women go.
The Garden of Eden.
Yeah. No, it all goes back to the same kind of core principle.
So what's your end game with this community you started? Where do you see this going?
I'd like to see a network of white American communities, communities for people of European descent who decide positively, this is worth preserving. You know, if someone's a civic nationalist and they care about the values of America and they don't care about their race, that's okay. But I think in this day and age, with the problems in the wider society, and I don't think it's going to turn around. I think a lot of these things are baked into the cake, and America's going to get worse over time. It's going to get more dangerous. And so if you want to take responsibility, you better have some kind of community. You know, if race is not the thing for you, religion's not the thing for you, find something that defines you and gives you an identity. I'm for identitarian, intentional communities just because the world's going to hell.
Yeah.
You know? So I think all groups should do that. And I think if enough groups do it and actually make those lifestyle changes, because we are where we are because of all of our collective sin and laziness and bad habits and drug use. And it's not just like we had a couple bad presidents. It's not just the Jews. It's not just anybody else. It's us making bad decisions. And to turn that around, we have to change the way we live. And a lot of how you live flows from how your cities are organized, how your kids are educated, stuff that really comes down to how are you forming your communities. And right now, the market decides that. You know, people with money who are trying to make money build these developments. They put all these appealing businesses and big, colorful signs all around us to try to make us spend money and care about money. And then we ignore deeper values that are actually foundational. So I think intentional communities are the way to solve that, not building around commerce and profit, but building around identity and values. And if we get a big network, you know, I want to work with Black intentional communities and Jewish intentional communities and other groups who want to do similar things, and then secure our collective rights to do that, and maybe even get the government to help us do that. If you think about it, like our community, we're building our own roads. That's work that the government doesn't have to do for us. We can do a lot of things for ourselves and save the government money. So actually, America could be stronger if it incentivized in some ways communities like ours.
Yeah, old liberal idea. What was that? Do what you can. What did Jeff Kennedy say?
You're gonna butcher the hell out of that. You're gonna butcher the hell out of that.
Ask not what your country can do for you, but what your country can do. What you can do for your country.
Right.
Yeah, Jeff K.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
it's a great principle to live by.
Yeah, so if you have this success with white communities, you was thinking maybe starting Black-only communities that have the same values as your community?
Well, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to start those communities, but I think we should have an association, like a
you could mentor
political action conference or something like that. Some body that spread the best practices for legally organizing private communities like this. It's a place to share knowledge, share legal research, and then ultimately lobby government, just like Israel lobbies government for its interest. I think intentional communities, it's good for the government. It's good for us, culturally speaking. It's a way of healing our broken people, like how many men are committing suicide, how many women are on OnlyFans. There's so many systemic problems in our population in all races. I think this is potentially a political way forward, right? Elon Musk, interestingly, is very big on intentional communities too, more from this like techno-futurist perspective, where they're going to be domed and robots everywhere.
Yeah, you got to be an android to live in his community. Have robot.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
some people think he's the Antichrist.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think he's the Antichrist. Well, we'd know him about 20 years.
I still like Elon.
Yeah, I like him
I do too.
Yeah, he did a lot of good, especially his last election.
What do you think the job Trump is doing? You think he's doing a good job or overall, or?
I didn't expect much. I mean, I'm happy that we got $46.5 billion for a border wall.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing. The
Immigration's down to 0 too.
Yeah, the foreign-born population has decreased.
Right.
We're not getting mass deportations, but I didn't really think we would. I'm concerned about the whole Epstein thing. He's obviously protecting, if not himself, a network that is so deeply entrenched.
I think he's
in our
protecting
government.
Israel.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I think.
I wonder, what do they have on him? Is it just that so many of his family members are married to Jews, or
Probably. That's
Is
probably
that
that's got something to do with it.
When he dropped that bomb on Iran, I was like, and the things he's doing at these colleges about anti-Semitism, they actually tried to deport this one guy. I forget his name.
He was here illegally.
Who was here illegally
They
on a
tried
visa.
to-
He's going to school. I think he's trying to get his PhD. So it's a good dude. And they actually tried to deport him because they said he was pro-Hamas, which nobody defends terrorism. But that's that old whistle anti-Semitism. Oh, you support Hamas, or you a terrorist sympathizer. It's all that BS is all. They actually tried to deport that guy who was here on a visa trying to get his PhD.
well, isn't he trying to make it where you can deport citizens, like immigrants who've naturalized?
Yeah,
if
he
they're
said that.
anti-Semitic?
Yeah.
If they came in under a false pretense.
Yeah,
Oh,
but that's always been the law. But he's kind of pushing it. Like I wonder how many Jews have been deported from America.
Yeah.
Like
Ever? I don't know.
ever.
Right.
I don't think
It's probably
the
0.
last 10, 20, 30 years. I don't think. I think it's 0. I guarantee you it's 0.
Yeah.
That's how much influence they have on the government. You're not going to deport a Jew from America back to Israel. Come on.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the hard thing, though, is not just having this reactionary, resentful attitude towards Jews. Just like the black community often has resentment towards the white community. White identitarians, white nationalists have resentment towards Jews.
Sometimes I gotta control myself because I got a lot of prejudice I need to work on.
Yeah.
And
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, it's just that I guess they have a huge influence on our country. We can't, like, I'm America first. You cannot be American first when you have all this influence from Israel. I have nothing against a Jewish state, them having their own communities. I'm totally fine with that. It's that it's spread into this influence on our country.
Zionism and genocide.
That's what I don't like.
Right.
And I know it's a double standard. I know they deport Muslims, people from Iran, but I guarantee you they're not deporting any Jewish people here illegally.
Well,
That's
there
illegal.
too. It's just like women voting. Like, I think set universal standards that fix these issues. Don't look for what group can we deport or persecute, especially
for political reasons. Yeah.
But just get rid of foreign influence on our politicians in general, and that issue will be taken care of.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Right.
look for justice and truth and right law.
Yeah.
Everything else.
I
will
mean,
follow.
we hold all these other countries accountable, but we don't hold Israel accountable. Because what Israel does affects us greatly, because our reputation with Israel and the things they're doing overseas, it affects our reputation. A majority of other countries outside the United States actually recognize Palestine as a state.
Yeah.
And America and Israel is the only two countries, I think,
That recognize Israel?
That don't.
that doesn't recognize Palestine.
Palestine.
Canada just came out and recognized Palestine as a state. And Trump threatened Canada, okay, I can't do any
Foreign
with the-
trade, well, I'm going to raise your tariffs up.
Yeah, I was like, that's not America first. You're punishing American businesses at that point because you're putting Israel's wants and interests before Americans. That's not America first.
Right. I mean, people will try to argue that it is in our best interest to make a strong Israel in the Middle East so that we can pivot to China. That's what Nick Fuentes likes to say. J.D. Vance represents that camp. And then there are stronger neoconservatives who want to have American dominance in the region and basically fight Israel's war for them so that American empire is just, it's one and the same, like the Jewish and American force. Yeah. I think that idea of giving Israel independence over the Middle East is very reckless because they're not the most pacific, peace-loving, fair, equitable hegemon, historically speaking. Like as far as world politics, I think a strong America is good unequivocally.
Right.
You know, I don't want China to dominate the world. I don't want any other power. I trust us more than anyone else. I don't exactly trust Israel. And if they're at the center of this supercontinent, it's like Brzezinski and all these theorists in the 90s argued for why America should take a strong stance in the Near East, because it's the center of this grand chessboard, and you have to have control over the trade routes there if you want to maintain a kind of global empire and win the war for this supercontinent. And some of those geopolitical concerns, they're real. And it'd be nice if Israel was a reliable ally, and it was what people thought it was.
Right.
But in light of that, you know, or in lieu of that, if Israel is not a reliable ally, then what are we doing in the Middle East? And there are a lot of unanswered questions, and I think they get glossed over. Like when you want to blame the Jews for things, okay, but then what happens with Israel? What happens with the Jews? And it's this kind of question mark or elephant in the room. It's like, is there a final solution to these questions that's peaceful and good for everyone? I would like to think so. But then I also look at it where I feel like we're just headed towards revelation and all of that.
That's why I see it going. Yeah, like when they say Israel has a right to defend themselves, when they say that before they struck Iran. I never believed that, because I was thinking, okay, they saying they're developing a nuclear weapon to strike Israel, but I'm thinking, who the hell creates a nuclear weapon, a nuclear arsenal to start a nuclear war with two nuclear superpowers? It doesn't make sense. I think that whole talking point that Israel has the right to defend themselves, I didn't buy into it. I just think Israel is slapping around Iran. That's what I think
they want
it
power.
is. They want more power. Yeah.
Yeah, and if they get it, what does that look like exactly, and how does the grand chessboard respond, and what role do we have relative to them, and do we maintain? I don't think you can just totally ignore it or say we need them totally out of our politics, in the sense that we don't negotiate with them or try to look for what is the modus vivendi or way of getting along for these major powers in the world. Israel's unequivocally part of that. You know, they have to be. But then how do you negotiate with them when you're not even allowed to say certain things? There are laws in Arkansas. I can't even legally say some things about Israel I might want to.
Right.
So it's tough. I think opening up on social media, the discourse, and people like Fuentes breaking through and bringing a lot of facts to light, that's opening new possibilities. But I mean, I'm not the best at foreseeing the future. I think very few people are good at that. It's just, it's sort of worrying, you know, what is Israel ultimately aiming for? Like, what do they want? Because in America, I think they've pushed, obviously, multiracialism, multiculturalism to destroy the white majority so that they can rise to power. It's not just them. Other groups do the same thing. It's what the ancient Assyrians and Babylonians did, too. When they took control over an area, they would disperse the people. That's why the Jews were expelled from Palestine, brought into these different places. So if we are surrounded by foreigners and no one can trust each other, then the top-down state authority, that's everything. So if that's how they've influenced American politics, then when they're in that position of global leadership that supposedly they want, what happens? And do they want to answer that question? It's like tikkun olam, right? That's their like making the world better kind of ideology thing. It's
right.
What's the plan there? What do they want?
I think they just want to take over the whole region. Yeah. That's what I think.
Do they stop there?
No, I don't think they ever stop. It's never going to stop. Yeah. I already think we're a United States of Israel. I think they pull on all our strings. The only reason why there's Israel is because of our economic influence and our weaponry. If you take that away, there's no Israel. So I think from the very soon as they created that Israel, that Jewish state, they've been pulling our strings and they've been manipulating us ever since. And I think it's a lot of things about World War II that they lied to us about.
All right,
I'm not going to go too deep because I'm not coming up missing, but I think World War II was a big lie. They keep saying it was a Holocaust, but in my opinion, whenever you look at a war, it's a war against humanity. We dropped a bomb on Japan. We killed hundreds of thousands of, and why is that okay? And another thing is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's all BS.
Or millions of Germans died in concentration camps after the war in Germany.
Right.
And we're not taught about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and I think a lot of people have touched on to Nazism, and they're presenting it as if it was some white racist organization. Man, there was like other countries, non-white, participating with Hitler in Germany. But you see these other people, they call themselves neo-American Nazis, and they're presenting Hitler in a light that I can't find anywhere in history where he was saying these things that they're sharing here in
Japan
America.
was an ally, right?
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For Germany, yeah.
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 I think a lot of what major powers around the world do today is actually emulating a lot of what Nazi Germany did, their financial policies, like the mixed economy that made Germany great kind of became the standard in even our financial system.
Yeah.
But of course, it's not under their authority. When it comes to the racial science, they were in some ways very far ahead of their time. In some ways, they were wrong. You know, they made mistakes. I wouldn't say Hitler did nothing wrong. But I think you should have a balanced take of all of these, you know, different historical events. There's been no perfect country. Everyone has issues. But yeah, I guess with...
It's hard to go down that rabbit hole.
yeah, you can only say certain things.
Yeah. You have to censor yourself.
You do, right? But I think more is coming to light. We can discuss more, and I think opening the conversation up is the best thing for Jews themselves. I think the Jewish people is subject in some ways to more brainwashing than anyone else. That's why they have this insane paranoia that people are out to get them, because that's what they're taught. Like the Holocaust education, it's not just for the Goyim, it's also for them to believe in, so that it motivates them to have a certain kind of...
To victimize themselves. And they see what's going on in Palestine is A-okay.
Right.
Like the black community. Victimize themselves.
Right. So I'm not for a special hatred of any other group.
Yeah, me neither.
You know?
Yeah.
I think...
talk trash about them, though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, when I ever bring up the Jewish state of Israel, it's nothing about them having their own land. Stay the hell away from me. It's just what you're doing influences Americans.
Yeah, it's their government. Nothing against the Jews.
I'm criticizing the government, not that people, because we just saw a video of Jews. They're totally against Zionism. They're totally against their government, what they're doing to the Palestinians. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll talk to any rabbi who wants to discuss these issues.
Right.
I think we should keep it open.
Yeah.
Right,
You know?
right.
Man, you know what? This has been a damn good show.
Where can people find you and keep track of what you're doing?
And support you.
Sure, yeah. I'm on X at Aarvoll, AARVOLL_. You can look into the association at returntotheland.org. Like I said in my reply to your tweet, you probably won't get into the community, but the house next door is for sale. So.
I would have lost, if you just said I could join your community, I would have lost all respect for you.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, nah, this guy, you're not fit for the job. So Twitter is the best bet to keep track of you?
I'm on YouTube too. I talk about I teach courses on Platonism. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what's your YouTube channel?
At Eric Orwell.
Okay.
Yeah, or just search Aarvoll on YouTube. You find that too. I talk about Atlantis and all sorts of
really?
stuff too.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for coming.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Man, that was a damn good show. Need more white people like this man. He's going to save this country.